I swear I thought it was coming home. Now football's chilling with Mancini and Chiellini in Rome. Saka's 19 years of age, but he still took the last pin that's grown. But all the haters Dracarius, fire upon them like it's Game of Thrones. What? I swear I thought it was coming home. Now football's chilling with Mancini and Chiellini in Rome. Saka's 19 years of age, but he still took the last pin that's grown. But all the haters Dracarius, fire upon them like it's Game of Thrones. Rashford and Sancho that's grown. Rashford and Sancho that's grown. Racist abuse I don't condone. Racist abuse I don't condone. Rashford and Sancho that's grown. Rashford and Sancho that's...
Yo, this is the OT99 Banter, everywhere opinions are shared and smoke gets served. We're back again with another show. It's your boy Firms and it's NK, and we're here to talk to you about football. It's not coming home. It is not coming home. Unfortunately, it's not coming home. Look, I've just basically recovered, NK. I don't know about you, but I'm just getting over the football side of things. Obviously, we know what's been happening outside of the football thing, which is not nice, you know, the racism and all of that stuff. But yeah, I've just mentally got over the loss, man. It's another poor, you know, penalty shootout sort of. I don't know where it is with us and penalty shootouts, but it doesn't seem to go well. But before I kick into that, let me just break it down what we'll be discussing. So guys, you know, on the agenda today is obviously Jadon Sancho, you know, the breaking news on that. The latest with Varane, everyone wants to know about that. Kamavinga, just quickly brush on those and then get stuck in with the Euro 2020. Obviously, you know, I didn't really touch on it that much. I was enjoying sort of us being in it for the first 55 years, to be honest, in the final. And throughout the process, I haven't really touched on it because obviously it's the Manchester United channel. But we're going to dive into a bit of that as well, what our thoughts were with regards to the player performances, the official Euro 2020 team selection. So let's get into it. So look, let's start off with Jadon Sancho, because obviously we got the breaking news. Fabrizio came out and said, you know, it's official. Finally, NK, we've got our man after how many years of chasing him. He's signing on a dotted, he signed a dotted, he's passed his medical. What's your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, it's been 4 years in the making, man. Hopefully we can put it to rest, you know. United gonna do what they're gonna do this. Some kind of like video, kind of like whole thing. I mean, yeah. As a United fan, we are very happy. It's excitement times. Like this boys, it's a generational talent, you know. Now you look at the team, you see guys like Greenwood, you see like Sancho, even Rashford. Rashford is 23 years old, you know. You see these young players and you think like, you know what, this team, if they kick it on, they can dominate for years with the right kind of like coaching and the right manager. This team can dominate for years, and it is an exciting time. I can't wait to see him make his debut. I really can't wait.
I can't wait either. I mean, we've got a young squad, of talented squad. Arguably, you know, we've got some of the best crop of young players, you know, young teens, mids, 20s in the whole of football, basically. You know, we've got Greenwood, who again is being touted as the generational talent, very young, being, what is he, under 20 himself. You know, we've got Sancho, we just signed, who's about, 21. Got Rashford, he's probably no more than 24. So we've got really young players scattered all around the pitch. You know, we've got a lot of longevity in the squad, and I feel like they can go on to play another 8-9 years together. You know, all perfectly fine. You know, and go on to dominate, like you said. So I'm happy we got that over the line personally, and can't wait to see him kick off. Obviously, I'll be watching closely with the friendlies, but I doubt any of them are going to play in that anyway. But I'm glad he signed. Lift up that number 7 shirt, team viewer. So I was reading as well that Sancho is going, well, Manchester United plan to do this whole unveiling and this big sort of kit.
Oh, they gave the number 7, right?
Yeah, he's got the number 7 shirt. So let's see if we can top, who was that Liverpool defender? Konate's one. Let's see if we can top his one, because his kit reveal was kind of dope.
I ain't seen. I don't watch rival stuff.
Look, it popped up on the feed. He was back home in his ends, I believe, and it was around all his friends, and he was in like a cage, and he took his kit out of a duffel bag, and then you had all of these like sort of red smoke in the air, and all of that stuff. But there was like the whole thing leading up to him even getting a bag. It was, you know, like you're doing a drug move or something where people it looked dope. So I know Man United's planning something big, and to be fair, Jadon Sancho, after going through what he went through, could do with a bit of that love, man. Could do with a bit of that love. But let's move on. Anyway, let's talk about quickly Varane. So Varane, more news has come out with regards to Varane. Let me just see if I can find it on my feed. So basically, news coming out from Fabrizio again. He said Real Madrid for Raphael Varane. United told Madrid they want to sign Raphael Varane and are going in for him as their next main target. United are ready to make an official bid when Madrid communicate their price. And there's a next tweet that said, where else? Now I think that's it on Varane. So basically, we're literally waiting for Real Madrid to state their price. So in my perspective, I feel like, the contract, the wages and everything like that is already agreed. We're literally got that all out of the way, and we're just waiting for Real Madrid to be like, you know what? State your price. Obviously, I've heard before that Man United's not willing to go above 45 million, and they want 50 million apparently. If it's only a 5 million gap, look, let's get this done.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've been reading, I heard that Real Madrid have given United permission to speak to Varane to kind of like agree personal term, like we haven't done that already. But you know what? The noise coming out like is positive, because if a club is to give you permission to speak to a player, then they have probably have a discussion according to like how much money that they would have agreed on. It's not an official bid, but they always have this discussion before an official bid goes, because they don't just go and just say, hey, 50 million. They normally talk about it first, and then they do all this kind of like communication by email. And then once they agree on something, that's when the official bid actually goes through. And I feel like they roughly kind of like agree on a set of like price. They just maybe just working on like payment structure or whatever it is before the official bid kind of like go on. Or maybe Varane to kind of like tell United something. I'm not sure, but the noise coming out of it, like, it sounds like positive. Like it will be a surprise to us United fans and even anybody involved like that. If Varane is not a United player, like in the next like 2 weeks, it will be a surprise. Or even having had the bid accepted, I'll be surprised if this deal doesn't get done within the next like 2 weeks, because I don't see why not. There's no tournament going on. Preseason is just about to start. All these players are just about to kind of like get their fitness. He lives in Spain, so if he's going to move to London, he might as well just do that now, get settled in, find a home, and just do everything. So yeah, in the next 2 weeks, I expect something big to kind of like happen with that deal.
I'm hoping so as well. I'm more and more optimistic the more I hear about it, and I think I read somewhere as well. I don't know if it was in the Manchester Evening News or if it was like a journalist that works for the BBC, Simon Stone, but someone said something like that to the effect of what you're saying. They'll be very surprised if that deal didn't happen, because all the right signals are out there. He's expressed his intention that he definitely wants to move, and he wants a new challenge, and he doesn't want to sign. Obviously, the money aspect of stuff is there as well. You're not going to be able to offer him less money than what he's already getting. And then you bring in David Alaba, who's on almost 400k. He's going to want parity with that, or some of the top earners. So that automatically is like a disrespect, a slap in the face for someone that's won you 4 Champions Leagues, 3 La Ligas, and numerous amount of other trophies. That's dedicated the best part of a decade to serve in Real Madrid. It doesn't make any sense that you would offer someone of his caliber, who in my opinion is still top 5, world-class centre backs.
He's top 1, bro.
Even, I'm just being very modest and generous, to be honest.
Right.
I'm being very modest, because if you told me today, NK, right, who would you choose? Who would you go out and pick, right, to partner Maguire, right? His names would be one of the first names that I mentioned. Him, Marquinhos, Marquinhos for PSG, Varane. He'll be definitely two of the names that come in my head instantly.
And Van Dijk. These are the only
Van Dijk.
centre backs that you would probably just say.
So Van Dijk. Van Dijk, you would say, number 1. Many people probably say Van Dijk number 1.
But that's because he's playing the Premiership. That's why. Look, and if Varane come here and have the same impact, man, he'll shift him to the corner, bro.
You know what I mean? But you're right. I mean, you got Van Dijk, Marquinhos, Varane. Those 3, they can vary in different orders depending on what fans' preferences. But those are going to be the names. And for the simple fact that Manchester United can sign him for 45, 50 million is just mind-blowing to me. He's on his last year of his contract. And you know what? I was saying this, a couple of friends in my group, I was saying, you've just got to, it's not always about, You know, people saying, you know, Man United's falling off. We can't attract these type of players no more. You know, why is a guy that's got all of these trophies ever going to come to Manchester United? And I said, basically, you know, it's not always about that. Sometimes it's about a player wanting a new challenge for one. Sometimes it's about right place, right time, you know, and sees an opportunity. Like you saw Di Maria. I know Di Maria didn't stay at Manchester United, but what happened was we ended up signing Di Maria. Di Maria left after a year, but he didn't want to come to Manchester United. It was just the timing where things didn't work out of other clubs not being able to afford him. And you see many other situations that if Pogba, again, his first choice was Real Madrid. That fell through because they couldn't afford to pay that money. He ended up coming to Manchester United. And there's probably numerous other examples in our history of Manchester United as well that we can discuss like this. So for me, Varane, when it comes to money, especially in this COVID market, teams really need the money and players want more money. They're never going to stop wanting more money. So there's always going to be an opportunity because that's something that we have. So, but can you picture it though? So look, NK, look, I've always grilled Maguire because I know that he is a good defender, and it upsets me when I see him concede crappy goals or not get his head on the ball and on target when he's head on the ball, all this stuff. But what I have noticed about Maguire, right, is he's a top defender. He's a really top defender. Now, you saw him in the Euros when he was partnered against Stones, and it was doing really well. It brought, you saw the leadership in it. It brought more out of him, I feel. What do you think Maguire is going to be like when he's partnering Raphael Varane?
Yeah, you know what? I think as a United fan, I'm not even going to lie. I think before Maguire probably went to the Euros, there was a bit of different opinion when it comes to Maguire. People just not sure whether he's a great defender or whether he is. But you know what? One thing that the Euros have done to Maguire benefit, I feel like most United fan right now, I'm talking about 80% when you say, you know what, Maguire is quality. And with the right person next to him, we will see the best out of him, And bringing Varane next to him is just going to because, sometimes when you are in a defense, which Pogba has struggled with for very, when you are just there and then you just feel like you are the only one that a lot of things fall into you. For example, if they do a long ball, for example, or there's a set piece, Maguire feel like he's the only one that can clear the ball because Lindelof cannot do that. Wan-Bissaka is not good in the air. When Lucio is it's not good. So I feel like he took too much responsibility, trying to do too much, trying to be in different places at the same time, that it actually affected his game. When you got someone like Varane next to you, you just say, hey, you know what? Let me just concentrate on my side of the pitch because I know he can concentrate on his side of the pitch. I know he can put Wan-Bissaka in check, and I have to just worry about my side and Lucio being in check. Whereas before he probably keeping Lindelof in check, keeping Wan-Bissaka in check because Lindelof is not a great communicator. So I feel like his game is just going to be just simple. And when your game is just simple and you're just doing what you're supposed to do, and you trust your teammate to do what they're supposed to do, well, it's just going to bring the best out of him. So I really cannot wait to see that two partnership. I just can't wait to see that.
You touched on one thing, communication, right? So with Maguire, we're seeing him being he's communicating a lot more. You can see he's trying to take that leadership role. He's our club captain after all. He's taking that leadership role. But then, Varane, he's also a guy that's not quiet. He's also a guy that likes to organize the back line. He's a guy that likes to take leadership. He's a guy that likes to dictate, direct, put people in check, like you said. For me, that's only a benefit. That's only a bonus because, if he's up against a guy that's communicating in Maguire, standing beside a guy that's communicating like Maguire, they're going to be having that constant dialogue. You've got two communicators having that constant dialogue. David De Gea is not as vocal. If he is the guy that's going to be between the sticks for Manchester United next season, then having those two vocal centre-backs will only help him. If it's Henderson is, again, a very good communicator. He likes to command his box. So again, that will also help from the communication aspect of things, our defensive line, our defensive sort of prowess. So for me, that would just be an amazing partnership. I mean, I literally, I don't even want to get too excited. I don't want to get too excited about that deal because for me, that's going to be the biggest deal of the window if we can forget Sancho. I know that would, I really wanted him at the club, but Varane, is going to be the signing of our season probably in the history for not in history, but in the last God knows how many years.
Yeah.
Probably be our biggest signing since we got. Yeah, probably bigger. It could even be bigger than Bruno.
He is bigger than Bruno because look,
You know
when we got Bruno, we didn't. We knew he done in the Portuguese league, but we didn't really know whether he was gonna hit Varane like that. A lot of people wasn't really know what we were getting from Bruno. Because I remember there was a time where people were talking about, oh, we should go for Madison instead of Bruno. And nobody in the Real Madrid going to tell us to go for Ben White instead of Varane, you know.
Yeah.
So he is a big signing too. So yeah, I can't wait for that too. And right now, if you look on paper, apart from let's just say Liverpool defense, who, I mean, they are right back, left back, and then all this is Van Dijk, and then the new guy the sign.
Yeah.
Apart from that, on paper, I feel like they're probably ahead of us in terms of like defensive. You look at them, we're probably second, and the Man City probably like third when it comes to like the back four. You know, when it comes to the back four, because I really believe so. Liverpool number one because they've got a very good back too. So yeah, one of the things I need to touch on too is the way United are acting in the transfer market. You know, if it was like a few years back, like look at Barcelona having trouble. You know, guys like Griezmann, United would have been all over him because we just didn't have a plan. We just go for any other person like that. So I like the way that we just concentrate on what we need, and we know all letting other players availability or anything like that affect us. We just say, hey, this is what we need, this is what I'm targeting, this is what we're gonna get. And you know what? We are acting like a proper big club in a transfer market, and long may it continue. Long may it continue.
Do you know what, right? Do you know what deal kind of pricked my ears a little bit? It's the Eric Ramsey deal. The is that his name? The coach. We brought in a set piece coach, right? We Solskjaer announced it in his press or whatever interview game.
Yeah.
And he announced it. And this coach, right, is significant because this is not a coach that was promoted from, you know, like the under 23s or the under 80. It's not an internal sort of recruitment. This is an external recruitment.
Right.
And not only that, this is a recruitment that is specifically recruited to address one of the major key issues that we've experienced in Manchester United, and that is us conceding goals from set pieces. He's a set piece specialist coach. That alone, right? Manchester United getting him shows me that they're moving differently, because we went through this thing, you know, we experienced this last year. I don't know why this weren't fixed last year. We've tried to address the issue now, so hopefully we can tackle that. I mean, and this fitness coach, you know, this set piece coach, training up Maguire, Wan-Bissaka in his positioning when it, you know, Luke Shaw, even Varane if he's here. Look, it's gonna work wonders, man. And that's another indication and a sign, like you said, of Manchester United moving differently. Hopefully we can get these signings over the line. But in terms of the coaching perspective, that's a very good sign.
Yeah, he's a great signing. I know that apparently McKenna know him from their time in like Loughborough too. And I watched like a few videos kind of like of him too. He was literally like coaching the defense on how to like bring the ball from the back too. So you can know that he's just gonna bring a different kind of like coaching into the system. You know, it's kind of like a reshuffle kind of thing. That was one of the things that Ferguson used to always be good at, bringing in new coaches, bringing in new ideas. I feel like last summer, because it was a very kind of like short preseason, because we had the long season because of the Europa League, and after that, I think we only had like 5 weeks. I mean, the league kicked off before us anyway, so we didn't really have time to like do the proper transfer, do the proper coaching, do the proper like system. Yeah. So this time we got a longer fair, and I'm hoping more new ideas, more ways of playing. You know, we're not going to be just a counter-attacking team. I feel like there's going to be new ideas kind of like coming too. And I mean, preseason is going to be a week from now too, so we're going to see what it is that we should be expecting next season.
Look, we've already had discussions offline about the formation and how it's going to look, you know. I'm saying that the formation has got to be a 4-3-3, but I have a feeling we're going to remain with our 4-2-3-1. The only difference is Sancho's going to be playing off the right. Cavani's going to be playing up top when he's fit. And then Rashford, if he's fit, he's going to be playing on the left, and then you're going to have the rotation of Greenwood coming on to replace, Cavani, or even replace Rashford, and then Martial replacing Cavani. That's what I feel will happen, even though, I want us to probably have a bit more balance in the midfield. But I can understand with the amount of attacking and talent that we've got now, it probably more suits the quality that we have to play a 4-2-3-1 rather than a 4-3-3. But what's your thoughts on it, Mo? What formation would you like to see before we move on?
You know what? I feel like the way we are recruiting like this summer, it won't be surprised me if only just go into the system, having like about 2-3 kind of like system in place. I really expect us to play the back three against top teams. I really, really do. I feel like that's something that he's going to utilize kind of like going. But in terms of the formation, everybody talk about McTominay and Fred being only preferred kind of like thing. He's always have to ended up falling onto them. He has never been his preferred two guys, because if you have watched since Oli took over, he never started the season with those two guys. He never started. Last season, he started the season with Matic and Pogba as the two middle there. Somehow, we started badly, so he ended up going back to those two. So he never started with those two. Huh?
It's his fullback option. His safety.
Right. It just always become the fallback option, because those two, because they don't give you much going forward, they just kind of like they just sit. They do the basic, and the basic is sometimes it's just good enough for us to grind our low result that we need to do. But unfortunately, when they get tough, when we are behind the lead, sometimes they don't really kind of like help us too. And I feel like Oli's going to be watching, he's going to be addressing it, and he's going to come up with like a system that kind of like get the best out of the team, that get a team to score more goals, that get a team to dominate from beginning to the end, not always have to kind of like come back from behind, because we've done that a lot. Last season, having to come back from behind. I feel like right now, what he want to do is he want to go to games, score one, score two, and then in the second half, just literally cruise control, just literally cruise control. I don't know. We will see how preseason, but I'm very, because we got a longer time with preseason, because this is the first time Oli will have a long time in preseason since he took over, where he had it in his first season, but then now he's going to have a longer time to implement something different, because I just feel like this counter-attack thing that they say about Oli, that's just not how he want to play. And we're going to see a different kind of like way we play this season. I really hope so.
We must, because we've definitely got the players to play, passing football, finesse. Like we've got the players to control the game, not only play one style, which is counter-attack. We can actually like press, we can actually like control the game. We've got passes, we've got creative guys, we've got guys that can do basically all of it. And, I feel like with the right coaching, I guess, it's just down to the coaching of these players, the right tactics. We can see a different Man United than we've seen before. But for me personally, I mean, I'm just finding it very difficult to see how we fit a Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes in the same squad. I've mentioned it to you before. It's just because, when Manchester United went on their long runs, unbeaten runs and stuff, there was times when Pogba did cameo and feature where he played off the left or he played beside one of the holding DMs. But for continuity, like long term, for like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever games in a row, Pogba had a stint last season where he was on fire, where he played maybe like 5 games back to back or something like that, something crazy. And he was killing it. But sort of long term, it's just hard to find, because that balance, because with Bruno Fernandes, he plays behind the striker, he loses the ball, he's a very risky player, he loses the ball quite a lot. Pogba at times he can switch off, and he doesn't like the defensive duties as well. So you've got where we're getting attacked and pressured, with Bruno losing the ball so much, the opposition getting the ball, Pogba not liking to defend, you're left with one person who's not even a natural out-and-out DM, being Scott McTominay or Fred partnering Pogba. It's just always going to leave us exposed. The balance isn't there. So going back to my original statement, I feel like when Manchester United were doing the best in terms of stability and balance is when Pogba wasn't there. We had Bruno in front of Scott McTominay and Fred. However, that has its deficiencies in it, because you're lacking that creativity. You're lacking that person that can bring the ball from the defense to the attack, like that transitional play. You're lacking that in Fred and Scott McTominay, and which is why you need your Pogba there. So
yeah, but you know what? Last season, I think Pogba getting injured affected us big time. Because right before we played that game against Sheffield United, he was literally one of our best players on the pitch. You know, we were grinding results and everything too. And then he got injured, I think, against the Sheffield United game. And then he was out for he always going to be out for like a month too. And then after that, he just kind of like distracted. And that's when our form kind of like dipped. That's when we couldn't catch Man City no more. Because up until the time we played Sheffield United, we were actually like, I think 3 points or a point or so ahead of City. The minute he got injured against that Sheffield United game, and then that was it. We lost that game, and then City just ran away with it too. And something to, I feel last season too, we in a way we were not expecting to be in a title race. So when we go there, it was such a shock that Oli didn't know how to approach going forward. You know, he didn't know whether a point is good enough to keep us there or a win is good enough to push on. I feel like it was a bit of kind of like lack of ideas from the whole coaching team. Once we go to the top, they didn't know how to maintain it. And going forward, they will learn from that. And then we are going to go in with the mentality that, hey, you know what? We are going in to challenge for the league. So when the game is 1-1 or 2-2, we keep pushing. We keep the urgency, or don't just go and just wait for some lucky goal at the end. Like, no. So I feel they're going to end it. And then this season, we're just going to go with the mentality that, hey, we're going to push this guy. So when it's 1-0 there, don't go defend just try and kill the game off rather than defend the lead out here.
Okay, so talking of formations then, so obviously the guy that I wanted to talk about is Camavinga. Now the story has been a bit quiet on Camavinga, but Manchester United fans, our fan base, realize and value how much we need a defensive midfielder, a young, in his prime, out-and-out defensive midfielder. Now, with Camavinga, to me, he's not an out-and-out defensive midfielder, but yet our fan base really want him. And it's probably one of those guys, again, he's looking like he's the next crop or next in line to be that generational talent. That guy that goes on to do great things in the footballing world. He's treated as, a guy that can do it all, basically. He's got a bit of everything. Now, obviously, we've been linked with him for £25 million. I'm not sure if that's going to be the final fee in the end, but the last discussions that we had with him is that he wants to go. His preference, I think, the thing that's delaying it, from what I've been hearing, is that his preference is to actually go to PSG. So he doesn't want to stay at Rennes. He doesn't want to sign a new contract. Rennes obviously can't let Camavinga go without collecting some sort of money for him, but he wants to go to PSG. Now, Manchester United, I'll be surprised again if we haven't been in discussions with him or haven't ironed out some sort of wage sort of demands that he wants, or even have an agreement in place. But I think what we're doing is waiting to see what is their next move in this market, what they're going to do next, and then we'll probably be able to see what happens. And I think, to be honest, is relying on Pogba. I really do feel like it's got something to do with Pogba. In terms like if PSG can get Pogba, Camavinga will now not go there and then it will come here. If Pogba decides to stay or sign, then he goes there.
Yeah, I think the thing about him, everybody keep on. I feel like PSG this time, obviously they've been very active too. So most of the time when the story come out, it's just very easy to kind of like link them to whatever player. I'm not sure their interest in him is as much as it used to be before. Because their midfield, they are pretty strong in the middle. Make what you want to make of it. They are pretty much strong in there. And the only reason why they even wanted to take Pogba is that Pogba is a superstar, and for marketing wise and everything, it would be great for them to have like a superstar like that in the team. In regards to Camavinga, I know that they have probably told United that they are interested in moving there, where it might not be their preferred destination, they're still interested in coming there, because United ain't gonna sit there and just try to go and bid for a player when they know that the player might not have no interest coming there. They will have a discussion with him, because I don't know, what's the point like saying in Rennes when you can come to United, even if you play 50% of the game, you'll be playing the Champions League, you'll be playing for one of the most supported clubs in the world, your stock is just literally gonna goes high, But in regard whether it's to do with Pogba or not, well, if United are buying him, we probably preparing him to maybe succeed when Pogba eventually do leave, which I believe he probably leave in 2 years' time. Not this year, maybe in 2 years' time, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, just thinking it through as you're even talking, I mean, it's interesting to see what angle PSG is going to take, because obviously they've done a madness in the market already, but a lot of their signings have been free signings. They've got Gini Wijnaldum, who was a free signing. They've got Donnarumma, who again was on a free signing. They spent a huge bag on Hakimi. They spent, the good part of 70 million euros on him, I believe, or was it 60? Somewhere between 60 and 70. I have a feeling it was 70 million euros. I think it was around 70 million euros on him. And then, is there anyone else they signed? I think it was those three.
No, most of the transfer has been like a free transfer, but big wages too.
And big wages too. Hakimi, they spent big money on him, and now they're being linked with Pogba. So my thing is this though: if your priority is to get Pogba, you're gonna hold out and make sure that he has made up his mind, giving you some sort of signal whether he wants to join or not. You're not gonna go out and look at Camavinga, because they're gonna rather preserve that money and not spend the best part of 25, 30, 40 million, whatever their fee will eventually be, on someone that they don't deem as their first choice. They're gonna rather invest that in Paul Pogba if they can get him this season. So for me, I don't see that being something that they're going to be looking at right now, Camavinga. I think they're going to wait to see what happens with Pogba. But in saying that, you mentioned it earlier, PSG's got a lot of midfielders. They've got a lot of midfielders. They added Gini to that roster. They've already got Verratti. They've already got Idris Gueye. They've already got Paredes. It's endless.
And then they go that guy to that play for Argentina too, who had a great tournament. I forgot what his name is too.
That's
begins with P.
Paredes.
Yeah, he's very good too. So
they've got so many. I haven't even touched the surface of all of them. They've got
Herrera too, is there too.
They've got plenty of players. So again, you're thinking, is that a priority position for them? Pogba, like you said, you can understand it because he's the global brand superstar. He's actually the best in his position, arguably the best midfielder out there. So you can understand the attraction, the link to it. But I can't really understand where you all want to go for Camavinga now, where he's still got a lot of work to do. And I don't know. We have to see about that. But you know what? Manchester United, I can see where we're trying to accelerate these deals, trying to get over the line quickly, because we don't want to be in a position where we're waiting for, getting stuck in a little rat race of waiting for someone to say, okay, they want to, waiting for players to make up their mind. We just need to get our business, get it over and done with quick, go to our preseason, with our players, have a good preseason, and then start the season off nice. But look, let's move on though. So obviously the Euros, we started off by talking about the Euros, it's not coming home. And the official, so let's talk about Southgate then. So obviously as a Manchester United fan, a lot of Manchester United fan base, some say, no, they disagree, but a lot of people do agree as well, that they say that, watching England is almost like watching Manchester United. So the formation, bar the final, there's times where, you'll play the 4-2-3-1 with the two DMs. Southgate, similar to what Manchester United do, and just the whole trajectory of him getting to the final as well, which we did with Europa League final, us failing in the final, them failing in the final. It came down to penalties. The lack of substitutions or the late substitutions was similarities there. Having star players on the bench and sacrificing a position potentially against teams where maybe one DM could have been enough, i.e. like playing against Scotland or something like that. You could have potentially brought on someone more like Jude Bellingham, or maybe someone a bit more, creative. There were similarities there, and I could see these similarities. Now, for you, in this tournament, when you were looking at England, what was your thoughts on how Southgate was? Do you feel like, he is similar to Solskjaer in a way? Do you feel like he has got the He's tactically good. Do you feel like he's just unlucky? Do you feel like he's got the minerals to take England to that Euro 20 World Cup or whatever, lift the trophy?
See, this is in terms of Southgate and Ole, they are very, very, very similar. Tactically, are they good? You could say yes, they are good, because one thing about Southgate too, both him and Ole too, is when it comes to a team, they do their scouting very well in terms of like the team, how the team play and how they can literally get the best out of them. Whether it's playing through at the back, whether it's playing two in the middle, they always come up with a strategy that literally highlight the other team weakness. And if you look at the final, it went to three at the back, and literally for the first half, England were dominating. They could have literally won the game in the first half if like they took their chances, if they took their chances too. And it's similar to Ole too. One thing that Ole too, I mean, how many times, time and time again, have we talk about Ole beating some of the big teams, Pep always doing against them, because they always know how to do their scouting, how to do their homework and come up with a strategy. So that bit, they are good. But some of the best managers in the world, they are paid not because of that kind of like tactics alone, but they are paid for their in-game management. Now that's when the biggest problem is. When you see a team playing and the manager is there having a big argument with the assistant, they're trying to tell you, yo, my G, what can I do to change this situation that we are in right here? And that's why this assistant are there. That's why the coaching are there. So when you see them always talking, because let's face it, we all feel like managing can be easy sometimes, but it's when it's going wrong, what can you do? And that's when guys like Mourinho used to be so good at it, when he first started. Like when he was at Chelsea, they could be losing 1-0, and then he would make like 3 changes at halftime, throwing the dice, all attack. And by the time, boom, 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 they will come back and win. So that is when it comes to it now. Unfortunately, both Southgate and Ole, the coaching around them are not great enough to advise them when things are going wrong. Italy was able to highlight that, hey, you know what, these people are playing further back, the wings, they are literally killing us on the wing hand side, so let's change something. They done a tactical change, and in second half, literally they pinned England back. That and
Chiesa, man. Chiesa was, Federico Chiesa was killing us. He was killing us.
And that was a tactical switch that they just done. So when they done that, it's like, okay, it's like chess game. Yeah. I've made my move. Over to you, Southgate. And then Southgate saw like, you know what, these people are coming at us. He waited until they considered a goal. And that's when he played his other chip. And his other chip was that he took Trippier off and then brought on Saka. That stabilizes it. So then my question is, after you have stabilized it, then what do you do? No, now Italy makes changes to counter what England did. Unfortunately, England never counter what Italy did. And it was more like he got scared. Southgate got scared because he didn't want to play his dice and then like lose it. Yeah. But then sometimes that's when it's coming to it. The best managers always risk it. And in terms of with him and Ole, they are always scared when it comes to making the big calls. They are so shook. As a manager, you are paid to make this risky move. And when you do that and it goes wrong, you say, hey, you know what? I done it. Don't just sit down and wait for what's going to happen. Like, that's what like, no, sir. Italy made like about 5-6 stuff. They took on their best striker off and brought in a different one because he knew that, look, I need fresh leg. I need to do that. And then England were just waiting for they were just literally waiting for a moment of magic, from Sterling, from Kane, and where have you heard that from Man United? Waiting for Bruno to score a penalty or Rashford to run. So it was the same thing too. And then you go to penalties where your team is not good at too, and even extra time didn't change anything. You can see some of the players were tired. Kane wasn't having no effect in there. Raheem Sterling too was tired too. No change, literally no change. And in the end, I say the best manager with the in-game tactics won it. Same thing in Europa League. Unai Emery, there's so many changes there. And Villarreal they were literally in cruise control onto the penalties. And then in the end, they deserved to win it because they were the guy that were trying to actually do something on the pitch. And it's the same thing with England too.
I tell you what, because you're so right in a lot of what you said. I mean, the in-game tactics is just what frustrates me, because there's no denying that, Southgate was doing, like, he's picking his first team and getting his first team right. He was great at picking his first team. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he played with one team basically for 2 seasons now. But it's the in-game management, like you said, because we're looking at this. We've got people, like, our whole thing when we're going into this tournament was, who's going to be able to play, like, how are we going to fit everyone in? Like, we're thinking about all of this attacking stars that we've got on the bench. Like, how are we going to get everyone to get game time, And we went through the tournament and we're thinking, this guy, does he know what he's got on his bench? Does he know the firepower? Like, England have got attack that teams will die for. You've got teams like that are struggling that will cry out, cut off an arm and a leg just to have the attacking prowess that we've got. We've got that Argentina type attack. When people say, "Oh, they're right," we've got crazy attack like that. And Grealish was coming on. I can't even remember what time he came on. 70 something minute, and Sancho
Grealish
and them
came on in the extra time, bro.
Extra time. You've got people like Rashford and Sancho coming on with, like, a minute to spare in, like, extra, like, before penalties or whatever it is, 2 minutes to spare. It just doesn't make sense to me. And the similarities just was flagging to me so much. Even with the goal that we conceded, it was from a set piece as well in England. And you just think, like, this is how we conceded in the final as well. It was through a set piece, I mean, it's the similarities anyway was just there. I was thinking, you know what? Like, you can't be writing out you can't just sacrifice. As soon as we went up, we went into our shell. Do you know what I mean? Especially when Italy got their goal, we went into our shell. We was trying to defend the whole, like, why are you trying to defend the whole game away? Do you know what you've got? You're trying to defend it all. And then we invited that pressure, and the pressure burst pipes, as you all know that saying. It burst pipes and we conceded a goal. And from then on, it was a downhill spiral, man. Like you said, if it was Mourinho or someone like that, I know he has his enemies and he has his doubters, but what that guy would have done is probably would have made 5 substitutions instantaneously, because everyone that was watching that game knew that England needed that lift. They needed that boost. Those guys that were tired, Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips run their socks off. They were tired in that heart of that midfield. We needed momentum, and we saw that shift as well when Grealish came on for a bit.
Right. And you know what? There were 2 key moments in that kind of, like, match, the way you just kind of, as a manager, you see it, because as a fan, I saw it. One was when Saka ran past Chiellini and he literally dragged him down. That was pure pace. He uses to do that too. And I remember in extra time too, Sterling literally down a pace, like, run quickly through them, literally got through them and nearly kind of, like, he was supposed to score. I don't know, but they blocked, like, last minute. So you can tell that this Italian defense were tired, and any fresh leg in there would have that. Marcus Rashford, he is the best when it comes to running through those kind of, like, plays like that. If you gave Marcus Rashford probably like 30 minutes in extra time, I guarantee you probably would have made some kind of, like, thing happen in there by running at them. Sancho, I've watched him, but I don't know. I know he's very good at making passes and stuff like that in between those spaces, but not necessarily in terms of, like, his running. I'm not quite sure. But Greenish came in there, you can tell that the game changed, because even him too, he was very dribbling, kind of, like, through the boxes there too and everything. And I feel like Rashford could have just said, you know what, Sterling, you have done good, but let me switch you and bring Rashford on. And you know what, one thing about Ole is at least Ole don't really have that kind of, like, a bench that Southgate had it. Personally, if you took Sterling off and you bring Rashford on, you don't lose much, because both players are very, very similar. What you actually gain more, because you gain fresh leg and a player with quality and good ideas too. Even Mount and Greenish too, same thing too, similar qualities too.
That's the thing, the talent, especially when you're fired up in a final like that. You would see the hungerness from someone like Rashford or your Sancho, the intensity. You remember when we first started in the 45 minutes, how intense everyone was, the drive, the passion, everything drained from their bones, because they're literally on overdrive for the first 45 minutes. But obviously people may say Sterling, he's carrying England clearly. And you're saying, you want to keep him on. But when it's so late in that game, you're past 90 minutes now, and you know Sterling's not taking a penalty because he wasn't on your list.
Right, why leave him on the pitch?
And you've got Rashford, right, who's good at taking penalties. Obviously, he missed, but he's a guy that can also impact on the game. He's got the fresh legs, like you say, the speed. He is only gonna be a positive to the England squad when everyone else is so tired, when the defense is even slow. Bringing on guys like this, it's only gonna have a positive. And for the fact that we didn't do it,
Could have given him 15 minutes at least. Could have given him 15 minutes of the second extra time. Could have given him 15 minutes and see what he can do.
Look, this is why I'm more focused on the in-play thing, like you said, rather than the penalty side of things. I'll get onto that in a second, but we should be looking to win games within the 90 minutes, not going to penalties, because once you go into penalties, it's a gamble. It's a gamble. And Pickford done well, but it's a gamble. Now,
Italy just won their semi-finals on a penalty shootout, Maggie. And now, you're gonna feel like you're gonna beat them on penalty shootout.
With big Donnarumma. Look, one thing I wanted to mention though is Italy I think they were ranked as the team that used the most substitutes in the tournament.
Right. 25 they did.
25 out of 26 that they brought to the tournament, they used 25 of them. They even used the substitute.
They even changed a sub goalkeeper in one of the games.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, look, with Italy, like even from their substitution, it led to 2 goals in the tournament. You've got teams like Italy, you've got teams like, I don't know, who was the other one? Is it Belgium, I think? Substitutions also led to a couple of goals. Like, substitutions are leading to goals. For certain teams, it probably led to 20% of their goals. I know it's right. Percentages making it sound like it's millions of goals, or whatever, but it led to a significant number of goals, like 2 in a tournament could be the difference between winning lifting the trophy or not, or getting to a final or latter stages or not. So for the fact that we've got some of the guys, Rashford, it was the second highest goal scorer, I think, or contributor to our team. Sancho is probably up there top in Bundesliga or up there in Bundesliga, maybe top 3 in terms of contributors. Sitting on your bench like that, you've got Grealish as well, who's like been performing as well, sitting on your bench so much. Got the Villa out of relegation the previous season. He's let's move on to the penalties. Let's move on to this penalty situation as well, because that leads me nicely into it. But just finishing off that point, in-game management was poor from Southgate. It was poor. Hopefully he learns from this. We've got World Cup next year, so there's not too much to dwell. We can, get up, brush our shirts off and move on. So let's get to the penalty thing. So when obviously the final whistle blew in extra time, we saw Southgate on his notepad writing down the list. Now, for me personally, I thought, okay, fair enough, you're writing down your list. And there's a lot of controversy with Saka and everything. He's writing down his list. He wrote his name. Saka was one of them, right? The last penalty kick taker. For me, Southgate said, base these decisions based off like what was happening in training and how many goals you scored in training. Look, that's crazy, because for me, you can't replicate that level of pressure. You can't replicate it. When you're up against a 6'8" guy with all of these tens of thousands of fans screaming down your neck, you can't replicate that pressure. It doesn't matter how many goals you scored in training. But, he said that was his justification for why he chose those players. Fair. Now, he made substitutions, like I've alluded to earlier, where he brought on Sancho and Rashford, because those are 2 good penalty kick takers, right? He brought them on for the purpose of penalty kicks. This is the same guy that wrote down Harry Maguire's name to take a penalty kick. Now, I don't know about you, but I ain't seen Maguire take a penalty kick before that penalty kick that he took for the Euros. And it was probably the best one I've seen, but I haven't seen him take one. I haven't seen him take one for Manchester United. I haven't seen him take one for Leicester. I don't know when the last time he's taken a penalty. Do you understand? But he was on that list. So I'm saying that to say this, right? Grealish, right, was accused by Roy Keane or whoever for not taking a penalty, and they allowed him, people stood there and allowed Saka, a young 19-year-old boy, take the penalty that they should have stood up and took responsibility. Grealish comes out and sort of defends himself, saying he went up to Southgate and he said he wanted to take a penalty kick, but obviously he didn't get to take a penalty kick. Now, for me, I'm saying that, if a player comes up to me in circumstances like that and says, I want to take a penalty kick, especially someone of the quality of Grealish, I'll be thinking, maybe I should just give him the opportunity to take a penalty kick rather than putting all of that responsibility on the 19-year-old. Because the same reason why you picked Maguire to take a penalty kick should be the same reason why you're considering allowing Grealish to take a penalty kick. Because
Right.
you know what I mean? If you said Sancho, Rashford, all the penalty kick quality specialists, I'll be like, fair enough. Okay, you know, I understand why you don't want to pick Grealish or you know what I mean, or letting Saka, but it's mixed messaging here. I just don't understand his rationale.
Right. I mean, from looking at the penalties, as I said to you, the guys that he chose was correct. You know, I mean, Kane, the penalty taker in the team, Maguire too, and then you know you watch that. Apparently, he took 1-2 in the World Cup too when they wanted to, and he did score. And that penalty was so great. Watch out, Bruno, because Maguire might be taking the penalties next season. And then you go from Rashford to who is a good penalty taker too. Sancho, once again, I haven't watched him take that much penalty too, but it makes sense too. Now, after this 4, anybody that come after that is a gamble, you know, because Saka, I've never seen him take a penalty. And according to apparently, Saka has never taken a senior penalty before ever.
Maguire was a gamble to me. He was a gamble as well, Maguire.
Who?
Maguire.
Yeah, Maguire was a gamble, but as I said, he's already taken one before. So it makes sense to say, hey, you know what?
In 2000 and what?
No, in 2000, what do you call it? 18 at the World Cup, Russia in World Cup. When they beat Colombia in the penalty shooter, apparently he took one and then he scored it. So it makes sense, as I said to you, because after those 4, anybody after that, you could make a case for them, you know, because Phillips, probably they didn't want to Jack thing. But this is where I talk about in-game management. Yes, you got your list there of who is to take the penalties. But as a manager, when someone is coming up to you, say, yo, Gaffer, let me take one. Let me take one. That is someone who is saying, like, I don't care how many people are on this stadium, I want to take one. You know, you go up to Saka, the thing is, as a 19-year-old guy, you ask him like, hey, are you going to be okay to? Of course, they are going to say yes. And even before the final, I heard Gary Neville talking about how he don't feel like Saka should start because the game might be too much of a pressure for him.
Yeah.
Now, if you imagine starting was a pressure, imagine going to take a 5th penalty, what kind of a pressure it was, you know?
Yeah.
And as I said, when you're doing this list as a 5th penalty taker, when you go to take it, there are only 2 reasons why you are taking it. One, you are either scoring to go to sudden death or you are scoring to win a penalty. Either case, that is an unbelievable pressure.
100%.
So if you got a guy like Greenish that say, boss, let me take one, I think as a manager, you say, okay, you know what? Greenish, you're going to be my 5th penalty taker. Saka, son, just relax. I know you've been scoring in training, but let the senior guy go. And if we need you again in the 6th one, then you can go. And that is all it should have been. And once again, his in-game management failed him. It literally failed him right there.
I mean, I agree. I mean, it's a tough one that, you know, for Saka to go through. Sancho as well. Rashford, you know, he's a leader and he's used to these things. I've heard that Sancho's got a good, strong mentality as well, and Rashford clearly has as well. But Saka, I just feel a little bit more sorry for him, and hopefully he can bounce back. But it was an unfair position to put this kid in. And like you said, Grealish was there that was coming up saying, you know, let me take it. And you know what it is about these penalties is, when it's 50-50 when you get into penalties. It doesn't matter how much training you do. It doesn't matter how many penalty kicks you take. It doesn't matter even if you're a certified penalty kick taker. We saw Jorginho, you know, his penalty got saved. Do you know? Our best penalty kick takers missed. You know, Sancho, the guys that we brought on last minute for our master plan, our get out of jail plan, Rashford, Sancho, those guys missed. And the pressure is, you heard Rashford himself come out and say, do you know what? He does these things in his sleep. He puts away pens in his sleep. He wrote his sort of open letter type thing to the fans. And something felt different this time. And what felt different that time was the pressure. It was looking at a 6'8" guy. He knows that, you know, we haven't been in this position for the last 55 years where we've been in the final. Everything is riding on his shoulders right now. And he has to score. Look, I've compared this thing to, you know, I don't know if you've watched The Cube, which is a program where you know, they do these simplest tasks to win money. They give you simple tasks. You do it in a massive cube, whatever like that. You get a number of lives. The simple tasks look very crazy when the world's watching you, when audience are watching you. All of a sudden, the nerves get the best of you, and you just crumble. Again, have you ever written an email like at work or something like that? Have you ever been on like working with like a work colleague or something, been on a Zoom, and someone's watching you type? So you're trying to make a change or something like that.
Bro, every single time. You know, you're working, your manager come and just help you sort out. Get out of here, man.
You get out there and they're watching you, and all of a sudden you can't type a sentence no more. All of a sudden, like everything just seems like crazy. Like, why can't you do what you normally do? And this is just some things I try to compare it with. But I say that to say this, the pressure's crazy, right? And it's more about where your mind is at, your mentality. You know, it's more about a mental state. It's not necessarily about how good you can strike a ball. It's not always about that. It's all about, you know, a bit of composure. Are you confident enough to take it? You know, someone offering their services to you at that crucial time says a lot. And to think about it is with Grealish, he's a big time player. Henderson again is a big time player. This is a guy that's won Premier League, Champions League. You know,
Henderson got taken off. He got taken off.
He got brought on as a sub, taken off as a look. It's mad.
But he was bad as a penalty taker anyway, so that's why he came off too. But I've seen him take penalties and he's knocked them in. The thing about Grealish though is the fact that I know this is about Man United. I've got off on a tangent, but obviously we've got to touch on the Euros. With Grealish, this is a guy that single-handedly carried Aston Villa on his back. Right, and I'm pretty sure he probably take their penalties too, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think I don't know who it is, you know, is it El Ghazi or whatever? It's not him, but he takes set pieces. But the thing with Grealish is he was also in his own highly pressured scenario right there of, you know, last game of the season where if they didn't win it, they're getting relegated. Obviously, probably not as much for him, but he was, you know, the team was dependent on Grealish to help them out. Because we all know that Grealish would have got his move anyway, but he single-handedly carried Aston Villa, brought them out of the fire, you know, and kept them in the Premier League. And this is someone that's used. He strives off these big occasions.
Yeah,
put him in.
Bro, I think I know why Southgate said no to him. You know, I think Greenish fancy going to the fifth because, as I said to you, when you go take it, you're either going to take it to win it or to go to sudden death. That's why you go take it. And I felt like he wanted to be the poster boy that won it for England if he did get that, because England we were going second to take it anyways, you know. Yeah. And I feel like he wanted to be the guy if he did go to the fifth. Yeah. And you know, I don't know what, but Gareth has had this thing in the whole tournament where he wanted to do it his way. He don't want to get I don't know why. He don't want to make someone bigger than the team or whatever it is. So I feel like maybe that played a role in him not making him go to take that penalty, because if he did go fifth and he scored to win it, everybody's going to talk about how Greenish did win it. And I feel like he should have made him go. You know what? That is the only mistake I feel like Gareth Southgate made when it came to the penalty shooter, literally, because, and you know what? All the penalties against Kane penalty was superb. Maguire was out of this world. Rashford won. As I said to you, he overthinking. He is one person that would say the pressure didn't get to him, because when he took 100%. It, that's not how he normally does it. And even that, he waited. He wanted a movement from the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper made his move, and all he had to do was place into that. And for some reason, he went too much into the corner, and then he hit it. You know, Sancho penalty was poor. He ain't gonna get nowhere near taking the penalty for Man United. That is for sure. Over that, he's gonna go way behind the queue.
He's a good spot kick taker. This is crazy. I think this is what I'm saying. It comes down to is, like you said, it's the pressure.
There are better. Yes, I mean, you know what? You can even make an argument that Ken even did miss against Denmark, because and then he tapping in too. So
Mbappe's like they've missed. You know, they've reached. You know what I mean?
Mbappe also did miss a penalty too. But as I said to you, it was just a poor penalty. You know, when you told me that, oh, these are the guys that you pick to take a penalty, bro, you are not talking about guys that just place it, because the penalty, it wasn't even in the angle. See how Harry Kane took it. That's a guy who's been practicing. Maguire took it. That's penalty practicing, you know. Top bins. That is how you take penalties. And if you're telling me that you chose these 5 guys to take it, that means that these guys are putting it up in the top corners. Because the way they took it, bro, in that case, you should have made Shaw taking it anyway, because Shaw did score his penalty for Man United, you know.
bro, this is what I'm saying. That the reason why I feel like Maguire, his mind was there because he's the captain of Manchester United. Kane is obviously the captain of England. Maguire's the captain of Manchester United. He feels this responsibility and he's confident enough to say, I'm taking this upon my. Look, you've got to be confident to be going for top bins. Let me put it like that, because
confident, bro.
Keepers don't save top bins, but it's so much, the risk is increased, right, for you missing or skying it if you're going for top bins. Maguire said, you know what, I'm going for top bins. That is the confidence right there, oozing out of him. Manchester United, captain's armband mentality, done that. And to be fair, I feel like Grealish should have got a look in. He
should have. And you know what, Maguire won, yeah. Not only was it top bins, their power, he smashed the camera, the camera went wide.
Did you see the clip? The clip, I've got the, so I'll send it to you, but it's got the clip, when it like, with like,
yeah,
that whole bleep.
It literally, and that's what you tell me. So when you tell me that these are your five that were taking the penalties, bro, I'm talking about they all had a strategy. Because even Rashford, for example, as I said, Rashford had a strategy. All he should have just done was just place it there after. You know how normally like these people just do it, that Bruno does it time and time again. They wait for the goalkeeper to move, and all they gotta do is just like pass it in there. And that's all he just needed to do. And if he scored, it would have been a whole different game. But as I said to you,
it's a mentality. It's a mentality,
and he should have made Greenish go, because Greenish, that boy is a confident lad. He would have probably gone and chip the goalkeeper. He would have
do Rabona or something.
Bro, and then chip the goalkeeper. And if he didn't go well too, it won't be the first time that he has been in trouble with the media anyway. He is loved by the fans. It's gonna be like Glasgow. He's loved by the fans, but he should have made him go there, because I feel like with his confidence, he would have probably put England into the sudden there. But then again, we will never know. But they done well in the tournament anyway. They done well in the tournament. Hopefully they kick on from there. And as I said to you, France hosted it, lost it, and went to win the World Cup. Once around the World Cup, a World Cup is around the corner too. So they go there. Hopefully Southgate have learned his decision to just know that if I have an attacking power, I need to use my attacking weapons, need to use it. So hopefully they learn from that, and we'll see what happens.
Let's see. So let's just round it off to finish it off. Look, so the official Euros, is it UEFA Euro 2020 team of the tournament is out there in circulation now. I don't know about you. I'm a bit biased, obviously, for Manchester United players. For me, so I'll just quickly list the names. So Donnarumma, the goalkeeper, Italy goalkeeper, obviously the Euros Cup winner. He's rightly so in there. Even though Pickford did well, but Donnarumma, obviously he was clear by far better. Then you've got Kyle Walker on the right. He made it in there for the English boys. Bonucci, he made it in there as well. Seasoned defender, Italian. He made it in there as a centre back. Harry Maguire. He made it in there, and this is a guy that skepticism. He's injured. He shouldn't be going. Look, he came there, and now he's listed in the tournament. And for me, he's opened a lot of eyes for me. I think he's a well-rounded centre back. He gives you not much speed, but in terms of every other attribute for a centre back, he gives you probably 7 out of 10 in every sort of area. And I think, just to touch on Maguire, right, I think he won something along the lines of 86% of his aerial duels, which I've always highlighted as a big thing for him in all of the scenarios. I think it was like 25 scenarios in that game. He won about 80 something percent of them. But so I can easily see why he would have made it in there. You've got Leonardo Spinazzola. So he's the one that got injured. I think the Achilles, he messed it up. But I was sitting there thinking, so he's the Italian left back, and obviously they won the Euros and everything. But I was sitting there thinking, surely Luke Shaw should have been in there. Surely Gilberto Carlos should have been in there. That
guy had a great tournament,
He did, though.
Italian attack was always going from right before he got injured. When he got injured, I felt like that was a big miss. But obviously Emerson came in too, and then he put in the ship too. But if you watch the Italian games, all of them, I believe he probably scored a goal in that tournament. He probably did score a goal in there. I believe he did score a goal or set up like 2 or 3. But I think he was superb.
to be fair, I haven't even checked his stats. But the thing is, right, is I definitely know that Luke Shaw got, obviously he saw his goal in the final, to score a goal in the final. And also he's seen his assists. Like he got an assist as well. So I'm just thinking, anyway, whoever made that would have had a tough decision to make.
Well, Ronaldo was the top goal scorer. He didn't make the team, so
He didn't make it either. Which I mean,
I don't even know what Lukaku did. To be honest with you, I don't even know what Lukaku did. To me, for his standard, he had a poor tournament. If I'm not even gonna lie to you, he did have a poor tournament, but he didn't make this team. That's why you just know that
he got a few goals, and that's what he does, isn't it?
He got like 3 goals.
But what
3 goals.
What it is with the fans is, well, when he was at Manchester United, there was always that thing about, you want more from Lukaku. This is why people are not like, they don't feel.
He scored goals, but he doesn't contribute. I feel like most of his goals that he scored in this tournament, he scored it in 2 games. He played 4 games, he scored in 2 games, and then the other 2, when Lukaku is not scoring, he's pretty much rubbish. But you know what? From a tournament point of view, as a United fan, I am very happy with our players. I am really, really happy with our players because, the ones that needed confidence for me went to go get confidence. That's Maguire and Luke Shaw. I feel like they are more respected now, them two, because as I said to you, these people... More Maguire.
More Maguire,
for sure. As I said, more Maguire for sure. Like, the respect for Maguire is now sky up. Luke Shaw too has been constant throughout the whole Manchester. I mean, people were not even sure whether he was going to call up to the England team. He made it, and not only did he make it there too, he made the left back his own, literally shifted through who won the Champions League. He just moved him to the side. That guy did not even see game time at all, and that just kind of like quality too. And then you go Bruno. Bruno have a bad tournament, but I don't care because I wanted Bruno to get a bit of a rest, and he did have majority of the rest anyways. And imagine we were trying to buy Bruno this summer and we saw him playing the Euros. Everybody was going to tell you not to go for Bruno. We know what Bruno does. And as I said to you, he had a rest and that's good. Rashford didn't really have a good tournament. But as I said to you, from a Man United fan, I like it because he got a rest. We did not want him to go anyways. He got a rest. So hopefully he can just go either get his surgery and everything like that. And then you go Lindelof had a great tournament with Sweden. The way they play, they bring the best out of him. They defend deep.
Overall, they did well.
Yeah, overall. So he done what too. McTominay too.
And no injuries.
No injuries. McTominay too played for the back for. He's the only one that I would just say in terms of like position wise, he didn't play his normal kind of a position. He played like a different position that he used to. But then again too, we can look here. It's like he has given us something to think about to say, hey, you know what? If United ever want to play for the back too, he can actually put a shift in there too. So once again too, that was also a lot. And I feel like Oli will be watching this tournament and he would have learned a lot from his players. So as I said, as a United fan, I was just very happy with all I saw. The players that we were linked to, Pogba too had a great tournament. Let's not forget.
He should have been in Atlanta because I didn't finish naming the guy. So to the midfielders, it was Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Jorginho.
I don't know what he done there.
Jorginho, Pedri, and then the front three was Chiesa, which he was amazing. Lukaku and then Raheem Sterling clearly should have been in there. But with Pogba, I don't know if it's because he got knocked out too early, but he was the man that everyone saw the qualities that Pogba was showcasing. It was on show. So for me, again, arguably, he should have been there. He should have been in that lineup.
Yeah, Pogba played 4 games. He played 4 games for France, and he had 3 good games. Like literally all their games, the way he was giving ball to Mbappe. I mean, it's sad that Mbappe had a poor tournament. If Mbappe was on form, bro, Pogba would have got so much assists and Mbappe would have scored so much goals. And I said to you, only watching this tournament would have been so happy, and he would have learned so much about his players. And also he would have just like said going forward. I mean, one thing about Portugal, for example, is Portugal was playing, but because of the way the standard they were playing, they were not actually getting the best because Germany destroyed them. And it just made you understand that sometimes you can take your best player off just to get the right balance. They took Bruno off, and after they took Bruno off, the balance of the team was actually very good. And as a manager, you gotta just
balance. It's all about the balance.
Balance, yeah. And that's what probably Oli does all the time for United, Should take Pogba off just to get the right balance. So I think as a tournament, we did learn a lot. I mean, I'm happy United fan. No
Yeah.
injuries as of now. No injuries. So yeah, all of all, just great.
Not to dismiss this fact as well, Italy are lifting that Euros with that formation of 4-3-3. The three midfielders in their midfield. And look, we can't sort of overlook this. You know, we're playing with two midfielders. You saw Chelsea with the three midfielders when they went onto it, Champions League. Like I feel we just need to help us be more balanced, unless we've got world-class DMs. Bringing it back to Manchester United, I do feel like we need to have that three-man midfield. But, you know...
Yeah, but if you look at that, for example, in terms of like DM, Juninho was playing as a DM. And if you ask Man United if they want Juninho as a DM, they were going to tell you no. But he done the job so superbly. So, you know, we got different type of DM. You got the DMs that just know how to pass. Literally, their job is just literally set up the tempo. He's one of them. You got a counter type where they go energy and then they run up and down. And then you got a Declan Rice type who literally just hug onto the center back and then they play free. My question is, which one is Oli looking for? And I feel like Oli is more looking for like the counter one that bring more energy to the team than someone who they take the ball back.
Being calm and thinker, yeah. So I think he's gonna improve us. But you know what? That's it. I mean, just my final statement. Obviously, football's not coming home, but it would have been good to see our boys in particular lift a major trophy. I know we tried to get that with the Europa League. It didn't work out for us. I was hoping that we could lift a major trophy or a massive trophy, being the Euros, and Luke Shaw can get a taste of what it feels like again to win a trophy, you know. Same with Maguire, same with our new boy Sancho, same with potentially Trippier, again coming off his La Liga win. I was hoping that all of our guys could get a taste of that. Even Harry Kane would have been getting his first trophy, even though
Banter, I
don't care about yeah. No, but I mean, for Man United boys, I mean, I was hoping, but obviously it's not happened. So we go again next year, and hopefully we can be lifting multiple trophies. But you know what? On that, I say that to say this, you know. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the season ahead. I'm excited for our transfer activity. I'm excited for the direction and the players that we're linked with. Hopefully we can get them all over the line and we move.
And don't forget, next week Sunday, Phil Jones masterclass in preseason, bro. You ain't gonna miss that, bro. 10 years at United, Phil Jones preseason. I can't wait.
Guys, remember to like, comment, and subscribe and support the thing. Follow us on Insta at OT99 _ Banter Room, Twitter at 99 Banter, TikTok at OT99 Banter Room, all one word. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and support the thing. This is a place where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Peace.